the Ministry of Lutheran Immigration and Refugee Service. Today, I'm so pleased that my guest is Matuor Alier, who is a member of the LIRS Board and in his workaday life is the Director of Equity and Inclusion for the Fargo-Moorhead, North Dakota Public School District. And he is a refugee himself. Welcome, Matuor. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Eric, and thanks for having me.
Tell our viewers a little bit about your journey. I understand you were in Sudan and ended up in Ethiopia and then ended up in Philadelphia and Moorhead. And so give us a little history of the journey till you got where you are.
Oh, thank you very much. It's a long journey, but I'll make it short.
Okay.
I was born in Sudan then. Now it's South Sudan. And at age 7, I ended up at a refugee camp. In a refugee camp in Ethiopia. It's called Dima Refugee Camp. And I stayed there for about 9 to 10 years before coming to America in 2006. I was sponsored by St. John Lutheran Church, who was a partner of LIRS, and came to Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. That's where St. John was, Lutheran Church there, and went to high school there, again to Penn State University. I graduated in 2011 with a bachelor's in biology. My intention was to go to med school, and then I changed my mind. It wasn't for me. I found a job working at Phoenixville Hospital there. And in 2014, I got a job as a social worker for Cass County Social Services here in Fargo, North Dakota. So I have relocated here and I have been living here since 2014. 2020, I got a job as a Director of Equity and Inclusion for Moorhead Public School. It's adjacent city to Fargo, North Dakota, and it's like the city is in Minnesota.
Wonderful. Was Cindy Cromas the pastor at St. John's when you came?
Yes, she was. We're still in contact.
Yeah, she was in my Sunday school class in Allentown years ago. So.
Oh, wow.
Well, you've learned already. It's a big church and a small church, isn't it? It's a small world church.
Yes.
When we pick themes, you picked today to talk about the theme of hope. So you've been through a lot in your life and probably some things that could have made you hopeless, but somehow you've held on to hope through this whole journey. So tell us a little bit about that.
It is a really strong word, and it depends on how you look at it. You know, hope is like having a positive thinking towards, like, to me, like being in a refugee camp where you only rely on one meal a day and also, you know, being an orphanage where you don't have a family or anybody to rely on. You know, hope is the only thing you have, that tomorrow will be better than today, or next year will be better than this year. And as you hope, you can progress toward what you hope for. And also hope and faith, they do come hand in hand. Having faith on things that you don't see or you're not really sure of, but actually trusting that, you know, tomorrow will be better. So I had bad days, worst days, good days, and all I was able to do was to hope that tomorrow will be better. Even as I'm living right now, that, you know, through pandemic, that, you know, there are better days ahead, and we don't know when, but we still have to hope that those days will come.
And now you're working for the school district in equity and inclusion. What does that look like? It's an interesting title. I know it's a fairly new title in school districts. What does a day look like when you're out promoting equity and inclusion for the school district?
And my view with it that every kid that walked through our doors or somebody that wanted to learn, to be supported to learn. And my role is to make sure that everybody is being supported to learn. Equity, when we look at it, is not taking something away from one kid and give it to the other kid. It's supporting all the kids to be at the same learning stage where, some kid might need extra help to be able to learn. Some kids could just pick it up quickly. So making sure that teachers have the support they need, or the staff have the support that they need to help our student learn.
So are you doing programs? Or is it more one-on-one, or how does it work out?
We looking out for more professional development, supporting tools for our staff to be able to help. That's what I'm doing. It's more at admin.
More admin for that, to make sure that those things are.
Yeah.
When things are happening.
What can we do different to have more kids pass SATs? What can we do different to have all our kids pass MTSS tests? So
Sure. Now, you came to the US as a refugee yourself, sponsored by LIRS and the St. John's Congregation. Were you by yourself? Were you with others when you came?
I was my older brother. He was a year older than me.
And you came together, and so you were this congregation sponsored the two of you then.
Correct.
Good start.
But with the group there, we had a lot of other South Sudanese lost boys that we were in the same refugee camp, but it's scattered all over the US. They have different sponsors, some of them by Catholic, some of them by different religious organization, or just the government.
Telling me before we began that you technically weren't a lost boy because you followed that you were a little after that group, but it was the same sort of thing of walking of escaping Sudan to Ethiopia, right? And then waiting.
Correct, yeah. I'm considered a lost boy, but most of the Sudanese lost boy resettlement started back in 2000 and in 2000 to 2001. So it was majority of them came around that time, and after September 11, the process kind of paused and restart up around the time that I come in 2006.
So did you, like the other lost boys, walk long distance from South Sudan into Ethiopia to get to the camp?
Yes, I did walk from Sudan to the camp.
About how far was that?
I'm not really sure. They say 1,000 miles, but I'm not really sure. But I did walk. It took us a month or so.
You and your brother together were walking?
Correct.
Wow. Was that dangerous?
Yes, it was dangerous along the way. A lot of the starvation, thirst, and also being attacked by animals.
Wow.
So yes, I think the whole journey of the Lost Boys start like, I think the initial number was at 26,000, and by the time they made it to a refugee camp was less than half.
Wow. Now, when you started out, did you know you were going to a refugee camp, or were you just trying to get out of South Sudan?
Like when I started out, everybody have the different stories on how they got to one location, and my story was that our village were attacked, and I was out playing with my brother. So, and the river we were playing in was, we just cross and they say don't go back home because we see a lot of huts were on fire and a lot of people running away from that. So we didn't follow that. We just followed the trail of people. And our mom ended up going in a different direction. My father was in the military then. So from there we separated. So we end up following this group, and they say, okay, the boys going this way. This is where people are going. So we just march along.
Wow. So you had no preparation. In other words, it was you're out playing and the village is attacked and you've got to go.
You gotta go, yes.
So you just had to go with the clothes on your back.
Yeah.
Wow. And what happened to your parents, if I might ask?
My in the Civil War, my dad ended up being killed.
I'm sorry.
And my mother ended up in a refugee camp in Kenya. So from then, I did not know where she was, and she did not know where I and my brother were. So until we came here to America, to Philadelphia, and our caseworker knew some of the lost boy in the area, and one weekend he came and took us over to go meet them, and actually one of them was our cousin. And he tell us about where your mom is. She's in the camp here. We have been in communication. I remember a while back she asked about you guys, but so we end up getting a phone number and made a phone call, and she didn't have a phone. So we find somebody that have a phone to go actually find where she is. And yeah, and we had that one call. I still remember the
I'm
question
sure.
she asked in her disbelief voice, that, and once she started asking us about our siblings, about name and some date of births and stuff to verify it was actually us. And then she just started crying.
I'm sure. Where is she now?
She was here. I was able to bring her here, and she did not like it, so she went back. South Sudan. But she was here with us for a year.
I see. So she's back in Africa.
She's back in Africa, yeah.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, at least she's safe. So that's the
She's
important
safe.
thing. That's the important thing. Now, you serve on the board of Lutheran Immigration Refugee Service. I'm sure you bring a unique perspective to that, being a refugee yourself. Can you say more about it?
Yeah, and like it was more of giving back to the service that was rendered to me. Like I have about 10 years of lived experience as a refugee in a refugee camp. And then here in America for 16 years. March 24th, this Friday, it will be 17 years for me in America.
Wow.
So I still remember that anniversary. And it's not just that refugees go through struggle in the camp, but also when they get a chance to come here and to start once they arrive in this country, the struggle to start again, where like the language barrier, not
Sure.
understanding the culture, mostly not the weather, depending on where you land, and navigating your way around. Like you will have to look for a job, you go to school, all of these, and not knowing the language and not understanding the culture. I think it will be turn into more struggling and turn to a lot of refugees, not those who are not getting enough support, can turn into kind of depression. So knowing that and being part of the LIRS, I feel like that voice can be heard, and to have LIRS think strategically for ways to help and support them being integrated into the communities in here.
Thinking of our theme of hope, then you can help bring hope to others, can't you? Then in this way.
Yeah, I think my story or my journey can bring hope to others, refugees. I came here with a very limited English, and as this year I'm doing my doctorate.
Oh, wow.
For educational leadership, you know, regardless whatever your walk of life or where you came from, you know, America is your place where, you know, like Obama used to put, where all things are possible. You can be anything, you can do anything, and as long you hope or put your mind into it, set your goals, and from there you can progress.
Great. Thank you. That's great. Our guest today on Walking Through Lent Together has been Matuor Alier, who is a member of the LIRS Board. He is Director of Equity and Inclusion for the Fargo-Moorhead, North Dakota School District. He is a refugee from Sudan through Ethiopia, and he is a person of hope, as we heard, and has then made his career bringing hope to others. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Pastor Eric, for having me.
You're welcome. Next week, we'll have another guest, Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern time, or anytime online after that. Our guest next week will be Roberto Lara, who is the president of the Evangelical Lutheran Churches in America's Latino Association. Also works for the Metro New York Synod. So I'm sure that'll be a wonderful interview also. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for your time, Matuor. And thank you to you all for watching. This is the season of Lent, and is the season of hope.